Namaste, my name is Ravind. I'm a counsellor, psychotherapist based here in Dublin who works with specific interest on multicultural issues, and that includes all forms of migrants, whether it's an economic migrant or someone who has come here as part of the asylum process or is an undocumented migrant as well. And I suppose I'd just like to give some advice that we're dealing with a very difficult time at the moment, where there's been restrictions, where there's been lockdowns, and this often can leave vulnerable populations very exposed. Perhaps you're living in a very small accommodation, perhaps you're living in a direct provision centre, sharing rooms with other people, other families, whom you may not even get on that well with. Perhaps you're being relocated and you don't know exactly where you're going. This is all very, very stressful. And often all types of migrants are dealing with an extreme amount of stress, whether it's just the change of culture of settling into a new country, or whether it's actually having had a very stressful experiences in your country of origin and on the journey here. But many people would have mentioned to me about how the experience here in Ireland is also sometimes, well, the word trauma has been used. It's traumatic. There's a lot of uncertainty. There can be a sense of powerlessness. We're dealing with a lot of loss of family, loss of culture, loss of our status or where we are, what we used to do in our country of origin, loss of faith, religion. And I suppose this is the first tip I would try to give to anyone, is to try to connect with others. It's very, very, very hard to do sometimes when we're in a pandemic locked down, but whether it's using social media, if you're in a facility that has Wi-Fi in particular, use whatever means you can to try and connect with other people, even outside of the place you're living, for your own mental health. But on the other side, another tip is to also maintain boundaries, because very often we've, for various reasons, had our boundaries overstepped. Maybe it's been done by the government in a country we came from. Maybe it's been done by loved ones or other family members or the army. Who knows? It could be a war situation. And we're landing now in a country where sometimes we might be living with other people who we did not choose to live with, or in a very cramped accommodation. So how do we get a bit of space for ourselves? Maybe there's children, maybe you have a partner with you as well, or a husband or a wife. It's very important to try and factor that in. You will not go to the shower or the bathroom with everyone in the place you live. You would find a way to find a time that's safe to go into the bathroom. And it's similar for maybe time alone in your apartment, that you could organise a time where you can be alone to decompress, or alone with your own children without other people around, or with your husband or wife. And to help all of this, there are numerous resources here, but they may not always be communicated very well. There are things like Pieta House or Women's Aid or the Samaritans, which have 24-hour phone lines, which means you can ring and chat to anyone, anytime you want. And often there is also other languages being provided by these services. So you may also be able to access someone who can speak a different language. So if you feel that you would like to talk about an experience, it doesn't have to be something extremely distressing, but it might be struggling with family, it might be struggling with trying to access work, it might be to do with your marriage, or it might be to do with your country of origin, anything like this. There are people out there who are trained, who are ethically bound to keep things confidential unless someone's safety is at risk, and who speak different languages and are aware of different cultures. For example, that it's not all just a Western individualistic type culture, but that there are different types of family relationships, different types of impacts in terms of how we rear children, how we talk about marriage, how we talk about lots of different things. and that is allowed for, and that there are practitioners out there who work with that, and who are open to understanding. There's also other services aside from counsellors, like Women's Aid or IOM, who can provide this sort of service as well, because sometimes it might be a more practical or solution-focused piece that's needed, including accessing the right type of GP or the right type of maybe something around your children's education. And we might need to do this in a way that is culturally sensitive. So if you contact myself or an organisation like the IOM, who are going to provide information at the end of this video, you can access people who will be able to advise you where to go to help you out.